PlayStation
Good morning and welcome to the land of long live play where greatness is always waiting. Welcome to the PlayStation Experience. It is I, as always, your boy Dad Ninja Dev, and I'm joined by my main man down in Florida, Mr. Delvin Cox. How are you doing this E3 kickoff weekend?
I'm doing good, brother. It's a nice and sunny day in Miami, so we'll see what goes down. It's good.
Oh boy, nice and sunny in Miami. That feels like it's going to be some crazy stuff popping off because
Well,
Florida.
that's normal.
Oh, Florida. Also joining us, as always, is the Secretary of the Spoil, the Platinum Princess herself, Miss Haley Nicole Miller. And how are you this fine Sunday morning?
Frustrated.
Oh no, why are we frustrated?
Del, you already know. Hi, my $240 headset broke. The headset itself's not broken, but like the cord that allows me to actually use the headset into just out of the blue. Don't know. It was fine. It was fine Thursday afternoon. I was watching The Flash and Supergirl and everything, catching up. I finished season 3 of The Flash, season 5 of Arrow, season 2 of Legends. All I got to do is finish season 2 of Supergirl, and then boom, I'm on to the next seasons. Get ready for the crossovers and everything. I go. There's like 20 minutes for Ratchet, so I go to like. I go to like make sure everything's working. My headset, as everybody knows, I like the color pink, like it's my favorite color. So I have the LED lights on my Arctis Pros set to do pink, and the headset's not showing any color. So I'm like, well, what's going on? And then I found the issue. The cord was snapped in two. Like, not the game DAC dial, like the chat dial or anything like that. That cord's fine. But the 8-pin connector that connects to the chat dial and the headset, just in two. So
Sucks.
that was, and here's the fun part. SteelSeries shipping is so expensive.
It is.
It is $10 to get a replacement pack so I can use the headset again. But the shipping on it is $40.
Wow.
Yeah, their shipping is really expensive unless you spend $50.
Yeah, ridiculous. Oh, and then I I called to renew my meds yesterday because if I don't take my hormones, bad things happen. So called. Oh yeah, that'll be $100. They've been free for the past 4.5 years. What's changed? So that was fun.
That
Can we tell why I'm frustrated?
Yeah. Just a string of events that are none too pleasing.
Oh, and then you can't see it because it's off camera, but like right here, I don't know if can you hear that? Yeah, that's me slapping the box from my work computer because I couldn't set it up on Friday while we were supposed to be setting it up because I didn't have a power bar, so I had to go out to Walmart because everything. Oh, they finally reopened non-essential sales. Why aren't power bars considered essential? I don't like. Everybody's working from home. Why are they not considered essential?
That's weird. So only parts of the store are available?
Yeah, all non-essential stores were closed for curbside pickup only. And then in stores like Walmart or Zayres or stuff like that. Zayres being a grocery store because I don't think you guys have Zayres in the States. Um, all stuff that's like not grocery related or babies and diapers and stuff like that just blocked off, couldn't access it. And that all lifted on Friday morning, but I couldn't get to Walmart until like 9 o'clock at night to get the stuff I needed. So this afternoon, after E3's finished, I gotta set that up.
That's so weird.
That is.
Like, let's just
I
block
have
off certain sections of the store, even though you can still go in the store.
Yeah.
Which is like, let's cut off areas in the store to make it more cluttered inside. That almost makes no sense to me. Like, legit makes
that's
no sense.
so strange.
Again, like just this has been the entire like lockdown rollout / vaccine rollout / like not even a full lockdown, but like a mock lockdown. That's been the strategy in Ontario. So it's just not been good.
Yeah. Been very different here in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very different.
Because wasn't nothing unavailable. If the store was open, you could purchase whatever the hell was in there. They just
Yeah.
limited the amount of people that could come in.
Yep. Oh, we were doing the limits too, but then so here's the thing. The lockdown stuff. They never limited purchases before. Like you could buy everything if the store was open, like up until when they put us back in lockdown at the end of April. Then they started restricting purchases. So it was a brand new thing, but it lasted until yesterday. Or not yesterday, Friday. So
The only thing that
Well,
was ever limited here were things like hand sanitizers and bleach, because people was going
understandable.
there buying 10 cases of bleach and sanitizers and toilet paper.
Yeah, and at the start of the
yep.
pandemic, toilet paper was limited too because everyone was buying it. So
I've never understood the mass buying of toilet paper. I don't get
I
it.
don't,
I
don't
don't
either.
understand.
I
Why do you
don't.
feel like you need so much TP?
It's like the gas shortage thing. Like you're creating a bigger shortage because you're buying it all up.
The,
Just dumb.
the funny thing about that, not to move on from this conversation, is that when the gas shortage happened down here, it didn't happen in South Florida, but people were so paranoid about it, they just started buying gas like crazy. And people were like, "Hey, we have gas. What are you doing?" They had to
Yeah.
go on the news tell them stop doing that. We have plenty of gas. We're not
Also,
short.
pro tip: if you're gonna buy gas, don't store it in plastic bags. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never had a shortage, but it did run our prices up really, really
Yeah.
high,
Yeah.
which are already higher than most places to begin with, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
We have so much oil here in Bakersfield, like it is where a lot of the oil companies are, yet our gas is always extremely expensive. It's insane. When I was in
Oh,
New York, I was looking at gas prices and everybody's complaining about how high gas was. I'm like, your gas prices are sub $3. Shut the hell up. My gas prices never go below like 3.50.
I
And most of
mean,
the times they're like four something.
the gas price here is like $1.07 usually.
I haven't seen that since the 80s.
Also, like I don't drive though, so
Legit.
like it doesn't benefit me at all. Also, Dev, you want to know something that's probably going to infuriate you? So this is a work computer that they've given me, right? It's not a
Mm-hmm.
laptop; it's a whole like desktop. So the desktop itself has USB 3.0 ports, but no HDMI.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, if you have just regular standard 1080p monitors, it's possible to still be using VGA,
It
or
yeah,
DisplayPort.
it's a VGA connection, which I
Yeah,
haven't set one of those up in years, so that'll be good to try and get connected tonight. And then apparently, so like it included an operating system on a USB stick because like the computer has Windows pre-installed on it, but for what we'll be doing for work, we'll be running off Ubuntu.
you're running Linux,
Apparently.
and they didn't set that up already for you. They
So here's the fun fact, Dev. I have to manually do the setup
right.
process for Ubuntu every day. Every day. It's on a USB stick, and the computer has to be off when you insert the USB stick. I have to do this every day for work.
Wait, so is it running? Is it running off, or are you actually running the install every day?
So like it's running off
Because
the
it can
USB.
run off. It's running off the USB stick.
It's running off the USB
Okay.
stick because like the computer itself has
Hmm.
a Windows installation. So like
Right.
we gotta like I had to take like 8 screenshots because like during training on like an IT onboarding on Friday, I had to take all of like they had a
Hmm.
PowerPoint to do it. I take 8 screenshots so I know how to set this thing up tomorrow, or tonight, so it's ready for tomorrow when we start training at 9 a.m. But yeah, have to boot Ubuntu from the USB stick literally every day.
That's interesting, and I'm wondering. That's really interesting. It's a way of keeping the computer basically deep frozen and not have to worry about viruses and stuff like that. Like I get that. That makes sense. I've never seen a practice like that where you have to run it off the stick every day. Like, do they send you an updated stick if there's updates to any of the programs or stuff you guys are running? I wonder.
So I that's a great question. I've got no clue. I'm sure they'll tell us that for like because like so there's 5 weeks of training, right? So this past week was meet and greet on Monday, and then like on Friday it was IT and onboarding day, which I couldn't do the IT part because I didn't have power bar to set everything up. But the next 5 weeks are training, so I'm sure they'll tell us what to do if there's got to be updates to the system, which we're running off of Amazon Workspaces.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Makes sense. Wow.
yeah.
Anything else going on in your week you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. They went there for Superman and Lois. By the way, Delvin, have you caught up yet at all?
No, I have not.
Do you care if I tell you?
You can go ahead and say it. It's fine.
Morgan Edge is not Morgan Edge. That's 2 reveals now. Morgan Edge is a Kryptonian, like a full Kryptonian, like not one of the ex Kryptonite Kryptonians. So I'm wondering if they're trying to do the I forget how to pronounce it, the H like apostrophe EL storyline, because at the end of this past week's episode, he used an ELT, which in comics or whatnot, like the device that Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane could use to call him. Um, he summoned him, and he's standing there in like full on like Kryptonian garb or whatnot, and he calls Superman brother. So I'm wondering if they're trying to do the heel or hell, however you pronounce it, storyline for the comics. Some people are speculating Zod, but still, it's interesting. Tuesday needs to get here fast because so I watched it on like Wednesday morning after it went live, and then I watched it yesterday with my mom because I wanted to see her reaction to it, and she's like, I don't fucking understand this, but all right. So, and then I already talked about the Arrowverse stuff. I just got my 42nd platinum this morning.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen
Oh,
Order.
stop. Yeah, falling order.
Yeah, but see here, fun fact by the way, I don't. Dev, did you get this platinum? I don't know.
No.
Okay, so fun fact: they tell you your trophies will auto pop. They don't. To get them to auto pop, you need to meditate. And if you're in New Game Plus, it will auto pop 3 trophies, maybe more, depending on which planet you're on. To get them to auto pop the rest of the trophies, you have to then load into your original save from before New Game Plus. And then, this is personal experience. I haven't seen anyone else talk about that. It auto popped every other trophy except one, which it took me 25 minutes to do this morning in Jedi Fallen Order to get that platinum to pop. I had to go cut the tongue off of an Ogdo again.
Wow.
That's the only trophy that didn't auto pop. But yeah, so I got that platinum in 35 minutes. um,
Let him
and,
chase it.
and then obviously our topic of the week is Ratchet, which we'll talk about later. So
For sure. For sure. What about you, Delvin? How was your week, sir?
Game of Wars, I think it was pretty good. I will say this, and we'll touch on it a little bit more later in the episode. It doesn't feel like it's E3 week. Maybe it's because this is not a knock to all the people who are on E3 and anything like that, but when you don't have one of the big two there, well, big three, in terms of like this year Sony's not there. It doesn't have that same feel to it where people are like talking about it and going crazy over like Sony people like, hey, we got this. Xbox people are like, hey, we got that. And maybe I'll feel a little different when Microsoft does their conference, but it doesn't feel like E3 to me, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because, frankly speaking, we've been getting great games this week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like if you look at Friday, we got Final Fantasy Integrate, we got Ratchet and Clank, we got Ninja Gaiden, and we got a couple more things on Friday alone.
Shout out.
And that
I was just gonna say, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just shout out on Thursday when the Integrate went live that the DLC itself was tagged as the Chinese/Korean version of the North American store.
yeah, it's just even though E3 is going on, I don't have the desire to watch it like I usually do because we already have a whole bunch of stuff to play now. And it's coming out around the same time. So it's like, oh yeah, Fallen Order's upgrade came out. So it's like, wow, it's great. I have a whole bunch of stuff to do while all this E3 stuff's going on. Yeah, I can be watching these E3 events and stuff, but kind of enjoying playing Ratchet and Clank. I'm kind of enjoying getting this Fallen Order upgrade so I can actually finish playing the game and enjoying it. Then Ninja Gaiden came out, then the Final Fantasy. It's so much. It's almost an overload of game content. So like,
oh, by the way, Fallen Order. Yeah, that PS5 upgrade, not really a PS5 upgrade. Just gonna put it out there. It does not take advantage of the SSD loading. It still takes forever to load after you die.
Like I said, I haven't played too much of that yet. I just turned it. I literally, with the Fallen Order, I turned it on. Trophies popped, and I turned it right back off. Went back to Ratchet and Clank, and it's just so much stuff to play now. It's almost like it's not enough time. If you look at all the stuff that came out, in the past few months, it's an overload of stuff.
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
Oh,
anything else going on this week for you?
Sorry,
nothing too important. Just mostly video game stuff.
Nice, just life as usual with a lot of video games sprinkled in. Huh?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's real nice. What about any? You were gonna say something else? Say?
Oh, I was just gonna say like it feels the same as E3's felt since 2018 when Sony wasn't there. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with Delvin.
I'll get that a little bit more later, Pop.
I'm definitely kind of with you on that, Delvin. But as far as my week, it's been. I was in a training all week for server stuff. So the new server version 2019 came out last year or whatnot, and we're trying to transition to that. So they kind of sent a couple of us to a week-long training. So that was most of my week. It was 7 to 3, which is 2-hour difference for like my regular 8 to 5 work or whatnot. So that was just having to be up and in class at 7. I ain't had to do that in forever. Cool thing was the professor was actually a huge Destiny fan, so that was interesting. At the end of the class, like at the end, like on Friday, he did like a face reveal and everything, just to let everybody know hey, I'm a real person and everything. And on his wall, he's actually got 3D printed models of a couple of different Destiny guns, as well as like a hunter knife. I was just like, oh, that's kind of dope. So yeah, added him as a friend. We may play some Destiny at some point. He's actually down in Mexico, but real cool dude, real cool dude. So that was most of my week. Other than that, just my son graduated from pre-K or TK as they call it. So he'll be going into kindergarten in the fall. My sister's down here because we're getting my son and daughter fitted for their tux and dress for my sister's wedding. So it's just been a cool, chill week, and then yeah, lots of games coming out. So that's probably why I'm not as hyper excited for E3, knowing the one that Sony doesn't have a massive presence there. Like I'm sure there'll be some announcements like we got with the Death Stranding director's cut, but it's also like I'm so busy playing games that I've been waiting for now. On top of I already have pretty much what I want for the fall, like it's already announced. So it's just like there's a little bit of excitement that's kind of missing for me for E3 because it's just like I've got so much to play right now that I'm excited about, that I've been excited about, that I'm just not super like E3, 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 So it's just a little different. And I mean, yeah, like you said, they haven't been there since 2018, so
Yeah.
it's always a little. If you're a Sony person, you kind of watch all the other conferences just to
Mhm.
see what else
Did
is
you
going on, but just a little like, eh.
did you catch Keely's wording about the Death Stranding thing?
No.
The full
What did you
reveal
say?
is coming in just a few weeks, so that's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
hinting at like a definite state of play this summer. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that I did catch. Yeah, I believe I was talking about that with I think Kyle in general chat as it was popping up. I was like, oh, that, yeah, with everything with that, it's like okay, that kind of gives some more credence to some kind of state of play in July, which sounds great. Like,
uh like for Summer Game Fest, I was watching the Easy Allies, and it's memorable watching the Allies. Like anytime they do reacts to things, Easy Allies is great for that. But I just have to shout out the fact that Isla's little jump when Elden Ring got a date was great. uh
oh, Elden Ring.
yeah, yeah. Um so, the Allies are great. I before we started recording, I was going because like obviously Donnie Garrett and I did the live react for Ubisoft yesterday, and and you were in there like chatting around and fucking around with us for a little bit in there. Even though you couldn't be there in person, which I think would have been even better, like just the four of us just joshing around. Um, but I was just watching the Allies' reaction to Ubisoft before we started recording, so because again I missed it while we were live reacting. So
Very cool, very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so much going on. There's so much content. So much content. We have like constant shows. I know we have the Xbox show later. I think
I asked Donnie about Square Enix,
something
and
else.
I think he said Empire would be recording at the time
Hmm. Yeah.
Square Enix goes live. So
Yeah, they're gonna react and then have a whole episode afterwards, and I feel like they'll have plenty to talk about. So, and then we had yesterday we had Ubisoft, we had
Devolver.
Devolver, and I'm not sure how much longer Sean and Donnie stayed on after I popped off
Uh,
of that, but
I mean, I hope they didn't, because we'll talk about this more in detail later. But oof, that Gearbox show. Oof.
yeah, they didn't do Gearbox. We talked about it being like on, but we didn't swap over to it because we didn't care. So
You made the right call. Let's just say that. We'll get into it later.
all right, well, let's get into our questions because we do have a few, and we're gonna start with the two troll questions we got. First from Eat the Hype, Mr. Donnie Reese himself. He says, so how does it feel watching the rest of us have fun this weekend? Just
I
jerk
just
mode,
gotta say
Donnie.
this, and this goes back to what I was saying before. Like, it's not like all these games they showed thus far aren't coming to PlayStation. So
Exactly.
that's like a ridiculous statement in itself. And also, we'll talk about it in my story later. I'm not too hyped about Avatar, the game. Like, hey,
By the way, I love that you titled that an Avatar game is coming. Apparently, we've known that game has been in development since 2018.
I
That
I,
game,
I say
I
that
had
because
no idea.
I can give a fuck
yeah,
less about Avatar. In the least, I'm more excited about Indiana Jones far more than I am about Avatar in
I, I
every form of fashion.
I don't understand like the interest in James Cameron's
I'm
Avatar.
I'm probably the only person in all of PSVG that really enjoyed Avatar. But y'all know I'm the sci-fi
Hey,
space dude.
hey,
That
I
was right up
mean,
my alley. It's
hey, I
great.
mean, nothing wrong. Like you enjoyed the movie, that's great. I just who asked for 5 sequels and a video game?
Yeah, I don't know why there's so many sequels.
Yeah, uh,
Also, again, I know that I'm the resident like horror girl like on this podcast, right? Like vampires, werewolves, zombies, whatever. Like I'm that girl. They killed one of my favorite characters off on Fear the Walking Dead, so we can go film 5 freaking sequels to Avatar. Like, why?
James
Avatar.
Cameron, the universe. I don't know, man. Who knows?
Uh, I'm gonna say something. Well, I'll talk about it more when we get to that story. But Avatar is the most overrated franchise in history by far. And it's not even close.
Just
Not
hey,
even
hey,
close.
hey, be careful with your wording and make sure you specify James Cameron's Avatar, because otherwise you're gonna get
He
torn
didn't say the
apart.
Well,
last Airbender. He didn't
yeah,
say the last Airbender. If you don't say the last Airbender, then it's not.
yeah.
You're not
It's
talking about that. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Avatar. I agree. It's completely overrated. I don't know why. Like, I think a lot of it is because there's so many people that hate it also that it won't die. And I don't know why they need so many sequels. But other than that, like we said, we're still having fun. We're playing Ratchet and Clank. We're playing Final Fantasy. So the PlayStation people are still having plenty to do. We're having fun, and up until the Xbox show, everything is still coming to PlayStation for the most part. So we're having the same fun you are.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
then Mike Fowler's other troll question says thoughts on Sony's E3 showcase.
Okay.
Just
We'll let you know when they get here. It's gonna
exactly.
come. It's gonna come soon enough. It may not. It doesn't. When you are the market leader, you can come when you want to come. You can
Yeah.
show up to the party when you want to show up to the party because everybody's waiting on you. And that's not to be arrogant or anything like that. It's just the truth. When
All right.
when Microsoft was killing it out there, Microsoft made the rules. When the Switch, when everybody was talking about the Switch, plus Nintendo made the rules. And that's the same thing with PlayStation. PlayStation's the market leader.
Yeah.
They can have a show when they want to have a show, and people are going to watch it when it comes because that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Microsoft was actually at E3 when E3 was still a thing. Like they was like, we're gonna go do our own show across the street. You know, it's E3 is whenever they decide they want to actually show something, they'll show something, and it's all
Yeah.
good. You know,
And
so
Yeah.
again,
I'll
with the Death Stranding director's cut thing, Keeley's exact words were the full reveal is coming in just a few weeks, which definitely alludes to what we've all been saying is that Sony's definitely doing a state of play this summer. We just don't know when yet.
yeah.
And I'm buying that, by the way.
What?
I'm buying
He
a
said he's
director's
buying
cut.
it. Yeah, because it's
Director's
definitely
cut.
not going to be a free upgrade.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, no. The way that it's titled director's cut, I would be shocked if it's free upgrade.
I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed that game.
Although, actually, they could do what they did with Final Fantasy. Have
Yeah,
the
they could.
have the standard Death Stranding title be and a free upgrade, and then like the director's cut content be DLC or available as like one whole bundle if you don't already own Death Stranding. So
Yeah.
Either
we'll see.
or, I'm
Dad,
buying it.
yeah. Daddy wants to know that either of you buy Demon Throttle. Do you even know what that is?
That's from
No.
Devolver, right?
Yeah, it was the Devolver's secret special game or whatnot.
The one that's like only only
Only a
physical.
physical release.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no, I didn't buy that, but I love that show. That show was so good.
Yeah, I bought it, of course. Me and Daddy both bought it, but
Yeah.
and we got a couple of people to buy it, which was also kind of fresh. But yeah, I
What's it
didn't think either
What's
one
it
of you.
available on?
It's just a Switch game. It's just a Switch physical game. It looks like an NES game, plays like an NES game. It's just, eat the hype and buy this real quick.
I love their joke about NFTs, and then they actually did an NFT, and I was like,
They,
so.
Devolver, so good.
I mean,
So
at
good.
least it was a real physical item and not something that's like, hosted on a server somewhere. But that thing, like, so for Devolver, sorry YouTube, but I was watching the Allies. Like, I went and watched like Easy Allies reaction to Devolver and Gearbox right after I finished with Ubisoft, and they were on their phones looking at everything that they were doing, that Devolver was doing as they posted
Hmm.
it, like the Devolver Maxi like
We did
pass.
the same thing.
Yeah, and Isla had her phone up the entire time, and then as soon as they brought up the real fungible token or whatever thing they called it, I forget what it was described as,
It
but
was a tape.
yeah,
It was
Isla
a
had it up,
VHS tape.
and she was like, "It's already sold for $1,000."
Yeah, It sold out way before. As soon as I announced the site, because Donnie and I went to the site to go look at what exactly it was, and it was sold out before they even had any mention of it. But we'll get more into E3 a little later on in the
Yeah.
show. All right, so our next question comes from Kenneth Yale. He says, "How crappy is it that we're 8 months into this next generation of consoles and have only 9 exclusives to this new gen? And the support for PS4 and Xbox doesn't seem like it'll die down any soon, considering Horizon 2, God of War 2, Gran Turismo 7, Halo Infinite, the next COD, etc. are all confirmed for past gen." It's a good question.
Wait, COD's confirmed for past gen. I didn't even know
I
that.
believe they said it was at some point somewhere, but I mean I can't imagine it's Activision. They're of course going to release
Yeah.
it on as many platforms as they
Yeah,
can
that's
outside of
fair.
Yes.
Switch. Um, how do you guys feel about that? Like, are you feeling like it's crappy that we only have 9 quote unquote exclusives to current gen while everything is still also on past gen? Do you guys have any feelings about that are bad, or does it not matter?
No, I mean it's year one. This always happens. So titles are sparse for the first year, and then like I've said numerous times, and everyone has said honestly, like Donnie's been the biggest person. Like everything's getting delayed, and mostly it's been COVID related, but there are other instances where games get delayed for completely separate reasons than COVID, and also again, it's the first year of a console. I'm not expecting 25 exclusive titles from PlayStation exclusive to PS5 right at the launch of a console. Now, granted, generally you would launch with more than like two or three like PS5 games at launch, but COVID happened, so you had Godfall originally being um, I won't
PS5
get
and
into it.
PC.
Yeah, and then Miles Morales was on PS5, but again, it also had a PS4 version, and then you had Demon Souls, which was PS5 only, and that's what you got. And then you had like
Yeah,
Valhalla and everything else, but those are cross-gen titles, and that's fine. Like it's the first year of a console, like, and I mean, again, I'm the biggest person that's like, if you want to put this isn't even technically related to the question, but it makes the same point I'm trying to make. I don't care about exclusives. Like if more people can play The Last of Us tomorrow because it goes to a different system, great, go play it. Like I don't care. I bought the PS5 because I was A, first in line, and B, I bought the PS5 because I like earning trophies in the ecosystem. Uh, but I don't care about whether a game is available on PS4 too. I'm not going to go complain. It's like when people started complaining that Horizon Zero Dawn went to PC. You already played it. It doesn't affect you
yeah,
if it goes to PC. Like why?
yeah. I'm trying to think like what games were even like I know from the launch I feel like there was only like 2 or 3 games that were exclusives to
Yeah.
PS4. I think it was like Knack, Killzone, and probably Resogun. I feel like
Yep.
everything else was on both platforms.
Yeah. And
But you go further out, I feel like the only game that came out that was exclusive was like Infamous Second Son. I can't think
yep.
of anything else that was exclusive to PS4 in like this same kind of time frame.
And that occurred last gen too, where even years out, titles were still coming to PS3, like 2 or 3 years into the PS4's life cycle. Like titles were still having PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. So
Yeah. How do you feel about it, Delvin? Or does it even bother you at all? Do you care?
It doesn't bother me because we're getting great games. Honestly speaking, like
Yeah.
usually when we have these console launches, a lot of the games be like up-res versions of the previous game. Like you get a prettier version of NBA 2K, which we got this console generation as well, but you get
Hmm.
that a prettier version of that or updated games, and then you get a whole bunch of kind of like, hey, we're putting this out because we know you have nothing to play right now.
Yeah.
I feel like this console generation, we started off with Miles Morales, even though it was PS4, PS5. That is an excellent game any part of a generation. Then if you look at as time goes on, like Demon Souls, people love that game. That did, even though it's a
Hmm.
It's a remake essentially, so that's a really great game. Then you go down to even now, we're getting Ratchet. This is all this stuff is in the first year of the console. We're getting Ratchet and Clank. We got what's the game that just came out that we love? The
Resogun, not Resogun,
I
Returnal.
was just Return. We got Returnal. You're
Yeah,
still getting quality stuff that when we had like the first. I don't remember the first year PS3 or PS2 being like this,
right.
getting these type quality type of games. Yeah, it's on PS4. That's fine. It doesn't matter too much to me. I think it'll matter if we get 5 years in the console generation and you start getting the same games and stuff like that on both systems. Then I'll be like, okay, this is a little bit too much because it doesn't give you the incentive to really move over to the next system. But otherwise than that, it doesn't matter. I think it's cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm looking at like the games that came out for PS4 in like the same kind of 9 month span, and the only games that were exclusive were Resogun, Killzone Shadowfall. You had Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero, so not even the full game, just like the little snippet piece.
Hmm.
You had games like, well, Thief wasn't even exclusive, so no. An Infamous Second Son. Everything else was either cross platform or cross generation. So it's like we're all upset. There's so many people that are upset about there's no exclusives, there's no games to buy, and this is no different than any other console launch. Except we're already getting really good games. When you look at the fact that Insomniac released Miles Morales and then Ratchet and Clank,
I was gonna say
and
that.
the quality of these games is incredible already out the gate. Like you got to think about how amazing this generation is going to be. Plus the fact that like we're getting so many titles that are being, you know, upres and stuff for PS5, where we didn't get that in PS4. There was no backwards compatibility. We actually have back compat that's actually making older games better. So if there was a bunch of stuff that you didn't get to play, like the PS Plus for PS5 collection, a lot of those games have been enhanced for PS5. So not only are you getting the exclusives, you're also getting the games from last gen better. So if you miss something, or you're new to the PS5 or new to PlayStation, you've got a whole slew of titles that are actually now even better than they were upon their original release. So like, sure, we've only got 9 exclusives to this new gen, and everything is going to be going cross-platform or cross generation. So yeah, Horizon 2 is coming to PS4, but you're going to get such a better version on PS5 because now we have the time with everything being delayed. Because that's the thing, last gen doesn't hold the games back. As long as they have the time to be able to develop for both systems, they're not being held back. So yeah, Horizon 2 is going to be a great game on PS4 because Horizon 1 was a great game. So now they have all that time, development, and skills utilizing the PS4 to make Horizon 2 an amazing PS4 game. But then it's going to be that much better on PS5. It's a win win. Nobody loses in that situation at all. Like having it's still a PlayStation exclusive, so you're not losing out anything there. It's just now if you have a PS5, you've got the better version, and the people on PS4 are still going to get an amazing game. Same with Gran Turismo and God of War. On the flip side, for Xbox, same with Halo. You're going to get people that
Yeah.
are going to be able to. Everybody's going to be able to play Halo, and it's going to be great on every system. Call of Duty, we should expect to be on everything. Think about how many PlayStation 4s are still out there.
Yeah. I mean,
What
that's the
publisher
thing.
isn't going to make it?
That's the thing
Yeah.
too, right? With I know this is your story, and we'll dive deeper into detail for it later. But Godfall coming to PS4, they're trying to expand that player base. I don't know if that's gonna work, but
I mean, it's not. It can't hurt. It may
yeah.
hurt their pocketbooks if it doesn't sell, but the fact that they've invested this much time into it means that there's something there. You know,
Hmm.
they have gotten enough sales or enough of people interested in it to where they feel like this is deemed it's worth it to
Yeah, I
be able
mean,
to not only bring it to PS4 but also bring new content.
hmm is that a sewing machine on the floor behind you, by the way?
Yes, yes, it is. My daughter was in sewing class and they gave her a sewing machine so they could do it on YouTube or whatnot. We
Hey,
actually got to send
that's
that back because we bought her one for her birthday.
that's pretty cool
Yeah.
though that they sent her one.
Yeah, because she was in the class, but since they couldn't meet because of COVID, they gave all they let all the kids take one home that they would have been using in the actual classroom.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think it's crappy. I may feel crappy for you, Kenneth, but I don't think it's crappy that we're 8 months into this generation. There's only nine quote unquote exclusives to this gen. I think the games and the titles that we're getting are great, whether they're cross gen or only on this gen. I feel like this is just a great year of gaming in terms of just the amount of games we have, the quality of. So,
Game of the year is gonna be hard
fun.
this year. That's all I
Oh,
gotta say.
I mean, yeah, no doubts about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough call. Oof. So something for everybody. That's the beauty in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, our last question for the day comes from Mr. Pastor Coach Ham. He says, because of adulting, parenting, puppy raising, and visiting in laws, prior to today, I hadn't played video games in over a week. What's the longest you have ever gone without playing? Also, did you have withdrawal symptoms like I did?
Uh, 6 months when I was in, I think I was 14 at the time. Like, I'd come out when this happened, but my PS3 broke, and then it took like 6 months to get a new one because like I wasn't paying the fee to send it in and repair it. It was cheaper to just go buy a new one. Um, Especially considering I'd be shipping from Canada to California. So, and I was 14.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
no.
yeah. So it took like 6 months to get it fixed. And withdrawal symptoms. I wouldn't say they were symptoms. I'd just say I really wanted things to do that weren't sit there and watch standard television because I didn't have a smart TV, so I couldn't even like watch Netflix or anything.
Yeah. What about you, Delvin?
For about a month, and that was because of a hurricane. I
Ooh.
forgot. I forgot which hurricane that was, but we were out of power, without power for like a month. And this was recent too, actually. And this is around the time when the Switch first came out, and the only game I had for it, because this was like early film was Breath of the Wild,
Hmm.
and I did not want to play that because every time I tried to get into it, I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. And then plus, having, like I said, it was a hurricane, so doing stuff around the house for the hurricane, I just didn't have time. So it's like I just didn't play for like a month.
Yeah. Any withdrawal symptoms, or you just were like, eh?
Didn't have time to. I I was
Right.
so busy. Like one story that came from that was in my backyard we have a like a little efficiency, and on top of that efficiency there was a tree that that fell down on a power line,
Oh
and it
no.
was on. So the power line, it wasn't, the line didn't break, but the tree was on top of the power line, and nobody could get to it. Like we called FPL and stuff like that, they couldn't get to it. So I had to go in that backyard and cut that tree off that power line with an axe. And I was
Oh, you
there
went
for
all Paul Bunyan on them.
yeah, I was there for so long, I couldn't move my right hand for like 2 days. It was almost like
Dang.
lockjaw.
Yeah. Wow.
Not fun.
I can't even imagine.
Shout out to Jeff Keeley, by the way, who just sent me an email. I'm assuming it's just the standard Summer Games Fest like newsletter, but also I don't even remember signing up for that, so that's interesting. I literally like I noticed the one on my email tab, but I didn't want to like switch away, right? So I went and looked at it on my phone, and the email's just titled Jeff Keeley. Like, okay,
Mm.
like,
Random.
uh,
Random. Yeah. I have definitely gone times without playing. I don't know what the longest is gone. Longest I've gone without playing. I really can't even. think about how long. Maybe a month, maybe two, maybe three. I don't know. But I've never had withdrawals from it because anytime that I have like just not played games is literally because I didn't feel like playing anything and there
Yeah.
wasn't anything that I wanted to play. There are times where I'm forced to not play video games because either I don't have time or there's a lot of stuff going on, and that those times I definitely get the withdrawal. Like, man, I want to get back to this game. Like a lot of times when I go on vacation, I don't take my systems because even when every time I would take a system, I never really get to play it. It just literally sits there. If it's a handheld
Yeah.
or if it's the console, like I just end up never really having time to actually play it. But I'm itching to get back. So like when we went away to New York, we were only gone for 4 days, but I was like, I can't wait to get back home talking about these video games, you know. But other times that it's been like if it's been an extended period, it's literally because I just don't feel like playing anything or there's nothing that I want to play. So there aren't really any withdrawal symptoms in that case.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
good question.
like as you
What up,
said,
K Mac?
there's also definitely times where like I just don't want to play and I'll just sit there and spend a whole day just watching TV. Like last night, after E3, I didn't really feel like playing anything, so I just, I threw on the originals. Finally, I own all the seasons, so I can start the originals now and then move on to legacies because they're about to finish their third season, and then they've already been renewed for season four. But getting some more vampire content in there, mixing it in with the Arrowverse rewatch, and everything else, and the still ongoing second Criminal Minds rewatch, and so, there's
Yeah,
just days where I don't feel like playing anything, and it's not because I don't want to play games. It's just because I just don't have the energy.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's just those time frames. You're like, I'll do
Yeah.
something else. All right, let's jump into some news. What you got for us, Haley?
Well, this leaked before Ubisoft show. Ironically, um, every year I don't understand how they just managed to like leak everything. This year, the major leak was from apparently Square Enix, but I'm not sure if all the stuff that leaked from them is gonna be at their showcase today. I don't know. We'll find out this afternoon. Um, but this leaked before the show that like the DLC for Far Cry 6 would have you playing as past series villains, and they showed the trailer at the conference, and Garrett, Donnie, and I talked about this a little bit, and I'm just like, all right. I mean, if you're gonna bring Jason Brody back in the year 2021, can I shove him off a cliff? Because man, I like Far Cry 3, but trying to go back and play Far Cry 3 and dealing with frat boy Jason Brody is just yikes. Also, like they brought him back and he's literally just repeating Voss's lines. Like he's just repeating iconic quotes from Voss, and I don't understand it. Like, and then the Joseph Seed thing apparently is snapping necks with Bibles, which all right. Like the trailer is so weird. It's like done in like a psychedelic like fashion, and I don't understand it. And like, yeah, I mean it's cool. I'm also probably more excited for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon because I never got to play it. So
Yeah,
that's included as part of the season pass, which is nice. I don't know. Like it's an interesting concept, right? Because like aside from Far Cry 3, like most of the Far Cry protagonists have just been blank slates. So like the villains are the more familiar characters. So like it's cool that like
hmm
you want to like relive the series' history, but man, what a weird way to do it. that
yeah. It's definitely interesting. I feel like I would be more inclined to play something like that if it was like playing their ascension to becoming Joseph Seed, to becoming Voss instead of whatever they're doing. I'm
uh,
less interested in that and more interested in like how they became who they were and being able to play as the villain. Like I've always wanted a game where you literally play the villain, and not in the infamous way where you just get to do
No,
bad
yeah,
things. I
yeah.
want to play the villain story, like because you got to remember, any good villain feels like they're the hero in their story. So it'd be really cool to be playing as a villain and the whole time feeling like you're the good guy, and then at the end of it getting to realize, oh God, you're the villain. You've been the villain this whole time. I think that would be a much cooler take than whatever this acid trip is they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know, but like the visuals for it are wild. The snapping necks with Bibles, just all right. And then I don't know what the hell Peg and Min's doing because I was not
Yeah.
a fan of Far Cry 4 or Primal. Like I love Far Cry 3. Uh, Far Cry 4 lost me like maybe 4 hours in. It just wasn't interesting. And then they reused the same map for Primal, and I was like, all right. And it's not even that like the map wasn't interesting. It's just like, okay, you've reused the same map, which that's fine. You have the assets and everything. That's fine. But you've also taken us like 10,000 years back before and or like 100, I don't know, whatever. It's like primal, so you're back like with woolly mammoths and stuff, and like you're you've got like no spoken understandable dialogue in this game either, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not a fan of this. Like I don't have a problem with them reusing the same map. Like Far Cry New Dawn uses parts of the same map from Far Cry 5, and they did it well, and New Dawn was fun to play, but they also
Yeah.
changed it up. Like they dropped an atom bomb. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Any
Yeah.
thoughts, Delvin?
I've always found the Far Cry villains compelling and even likable to an extent. I think I agree with Dev in terms of I want to see more like, hey, let's get the backstory on this guy, like a story like a Far Cry DLC about the rise of Joseph Seed, and you see how he learns to be essentially a cult leader and things like that. That's compelling to me. I
Mhm.
think Pagan Minute kind of has that same feel to him too. Um, I don't know what this is. I hope they flesh it out more and make it entertaining. Far Cry always with that DLC they go wacky and different and
Yeah.
cool. And I've always liked the Far Cry games because they are, for all intents and purposes, very dark. Like the
Mhm.
ending for most of those games are pretty dark, and there are almost no happy endings
Okay,
in the Far Cry game.
I'm gonna spoil Far Cry 3 right now. But I like the like I'm not like I'm sorry, but that game came out in 2012. I think I'm in the clear to spoil that game now at this
I'm
point.
Well,
quite sure
now that
nobody
they're
won't
all
get there.
coming to Ubisoft Plus and people haven't played these games.
Yeah, you know what? I don't care. In Far Cry 3, the ending choice you have is to kill your friends, and then you end up dead if you do that. Like you kill your friends, then you make get Sintra pregnant, and then she just stabs you with a knife, or you essentially leave Dennis there to die and just drive right off into the sunset with your friends on a plane, and like you've just left a man to die there, and it's just all right. Like Far Cry 3 is dark. I never finished Far Cry 4 because again, I just didn't enjoy it. And yeah, you've got two endings in Far Cry 5, and one of them is just ridiculously stupid. And the other is like canon. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with Delvin. I like the darkness of Far Cry. It's
yeah, it's the
interesting.
point.
They're yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no happy endings in Far Cry, and almost more you play, it's almost like it's no good guys. It's always this kind of gray area, and it's always kind of
Mhm.
like how far you want to push it. Even the endings, the
Mhm.
endings are you win, but you kind of don't win almost.
Right.
Like not to spoil the Far Cry, what is it, 5? Like
Yeah.
alternate ending, but
You can. I
I'm
don't
not
think
gonna
it's a.
spoil that.
No, no. Hold on a sec. I'm just saying. I don't think it's a spoiler to say how Far Cry 5 ends. The alternate ending might be a spoiler, but like I think everybody knows how Far Cry 5 ends due to the fact that like New Dawn literally like
Just
No,
yeah.
just
on the,
because New Dawn exists doesn't mean people have any idea why it exists or
well,
what it pertains to or what it even means. So it could still be a spoiler.
I
but
don't
not
care.
to spoil it, not to spoil anything on either one. The alternate ending for Far Cry 5 is kind of the best choice for the character, and that ending is also really bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, it's interesting how they do a great job with kind of playing those games out. And I'm super excited to see what they do with these stories, like have in terms of having you play as the bad guy and what that entails. If it's just hey, you're just pegging men for DLC for like something, they're like, okay.
So rumor has it the DLCs for each of the villains will be roguelike.
That may be a
Silence
missed opportunity.
speaks volumes.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work in Far Cry, but all right, let's see how Ubisoft does it. I mean, with the DLC for Phoenix Rising, they tried to turn Phoenix Rising into a top-down brawler, and that didn't work either because the camera just wasn't set up for that. Like the camera rig gets in the way, and the combat's just not meant for that. So
I will say this: Giancarlo Esposito is an incredible actor.
yes, he
Yeah,
is.
buddy.
I love how when he showed up at Summer Games Fest, though, like in that little thing, he's talking about how he was talking about like philosophy and Hitler with his daughter, and I was just, all right.
Sounds accurate.
And I mean, I
Yeah,
love that
I
when
don't.
Kojima. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I'm not saying like it's bad to discuss those things. He just said it on the stage, and I was like, all right, cool.
Huh?
Like, and then the same thing with like Kojima mentioned 9/11, and I was like, wow, okay, like
I don't think that there's anything wrong with
there's
bringing
not
up those topics, which
no.
is great.
I
Because
that's
otherwise, we're doomed to repeat them all.
I mean that's the point though, is that like the
Yeah.
fact that they're so open to talk about it like is great. But I don't know, like Giancarlo Esposito is great. He's great in, I mean, I haven't watched Breaking Bad, but like he's great in The Boys. He's great in The Mandalorian. I've seen clips of him again. I haven't actually watched like the whole Mandalorian, but like he's great in the clips I've seen of that. You know, so
He's a really good actor, and I would love to. If I'm gonna do a villain story, let me play one of the actual villains' story.
Yeah.
Let me rise to power.
I'm super interested in Far Cry 6, and
oh,
not
yeah.
Oh
even
yeah,
for the
me too.
DLC, just because of the plot. They've got an actor who's amazing to be the bad
Yep.
guy, and I'm super intrigued on how that plays out. This has the potential to be the best Far Cry game to me, especially with the Cuban influence. With me living in South
Mm-hmm.
Florida
I,
and me knowing about Cuban history, I think that's going to be really cool.
I like that they
Yeah.
actually came out and were like, well, I mean, like, I'm sure they only came out and said it due to like pressure from like the widespread like community, because they got railed on Twitter for their whole "we're not trying to make a political statement," and then like less than 24 hours later, they're like, no, the game's political, and I'm like, all right. I mean,
Yeah.
we knew that already because you're literally a guerrilla fighter, like that's political. But
Yeah.
my like, I like that they came out and like said it and everything, and they're like, we're this game is political, but we're not directly trying to make a comment on like the Cuban like
Right.
what's going on in Cuba, but we
Yeah.
are trying to make a political point. And I'm like, all right, like props
Yeah.
to you for actually coming out and saying that. I don't know, like I'm very excited for Far Cry 6. Dev, I know you're of the opinion they should stop doing like the choice between male and female. I mean, I would love them to just do the female thing, but again,
Just lean into who you want the
cap
character to be. Damn it.
yeah, capital G gamers. But the one thing I will say is that even though they have choice this time, I like that the characters are actually voiced as opposed to like in Far Cry 5 where you're just a silent protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's it's totally different. That's why I feel like if you're gonna go with the voice character and you're basically touting somebody as the character, then you have just like a male version of that. I'm like, just lead in, like pick one. Like I hate the back and forth. Like if you really want your character to be a strong female lead, then just let that
Like
be
like I brought
who you're
this up.
playing as.
I brought it up with Valhalla. Like they actually like the trailers they keep showing for Valhalla are all using male Ivor, and yet Fem Ivor is like the actual character. It's just frustrating
Yeah,
to see.
it is. It's annoying. I'm not gonna
But
lie. It's annoying.
Donnie's like, it doesn't matter, and I'm just like, no, it does matter. Like it's like they've picked a canon choice, but they'll never put it in trailers, and it's just like, all right,
Yeah, the problem I feel with that is that it's confusing to people who aren't paying as much attention. Like you see this male Ivor the whole time, but then The female is declared like, so wait, what is that? So I feel like it's just
Yeah.
it creates more confusion than anything else for people who aren't following along as closely as we are.
Yeah.
The common gamer, as they would
Also,
probably
like,
guess.
I know that I'm the only one here who collects Funkos. Dev, I know you have a couple Destiny Funkos, but
I don't have a couple. I've got all the Destiny
okay, but
photos.
my point being is
Alright.
you don't collect Funkos outside of that, whereas I do.
Not at all. Not at
What
all.
frustrates me too is that they're only making collectibles now of male Ivor, none of female Ivor. Like, I can't buy a femme Ivor Funko Pop. It's only male
That's
Ivor, and
stupid.
it's just like, why? Like,
That's
I
dumb.
don't understand it. Even Cyberpunk let me do that. Cyberpunk let me buy Femme V. And then they had 4 different Funko Pops of Johnny Silverhand, but they let me buy Femme V, so
Interesting.
Huh?
Ubisoft needs to get it together and pick one. Damn it. Well, that's Far Cry news. What you got for us, Delvin?
In news that I won't care about after this podcast, Ubisoft is making an Avatar game that apparently is coming out in 2022.
a game that
It looks beautiful, by the way.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty, but who the fuck asked for this? Like, no offense to those. Aside from Dev, who stated earlier on this podcast that he's probably the only one in PSVG who likes Avatar. Who asked for 5 fucking Avatar sequels and a video game? Mate,
Well, this will be the second video game, by the way.
Oh, the movie video game doesn't count. It was just a tie-in cash grab. It's like the Captain America. All right.
No.
All right. We're bringing that conversation back. All right, sure. No, but like, who asked for 5 sequels and a video game developed by the Division Studio? Because when I think Avatar, I think the Division Studio.
I don't think it's a matter of who you think. It's just the Snowdrop engine and what they've been able to do with Division. Like, if you're building an open world or a large world, it's a good team to go for. They're not doing a whole lot right now. They're not making Far Cry.
I will say this: if you're gonna use that Division Studios engine, I'd much rather them make a GI Joe game off that engine. Like legit.
Don't play with my emotions, Delvin.
Like, Avatar is so far down the list. Not only because I don't like Avatar, that's just the whole thing in general. But is Avatar even like, in terms of properties? Is people talk about Avatar like that in terms of to garner a sequel? There are so many other properties you can make games off, including DC stuff in general, that you can make games of movies off of. Avatar is so far down that list. They keep saying, like, we still haven't. The last movie was like what, 2010?
Came out in 2009. 2009. Yeah. And we're making a video game 12 and a half years later. All right.
I mean, you got to imagine they're making the video game as more of a tie-in to the movies. Another cash grab. Like, it's a licensed property. We're going to be able to. The sequel's finally coming out, apparently. So let's go ahead and make a game that ties into it, so that if the sequel is good, we have another intellectual property where people can play Avatar, and that's another revenue stream. So from a business standpoint, if the movie does well, the game has the potential to also do well. And now we've got all this money and this synergy between the two or whatnot. So from a business standpoint, it's not a bad thing. But is anybody asking for this, like you guys said? No. I feel like most people have completely forgotten about Avatar. And every now and again, you'll be reminded that they're making several sequels, and you're like, what? Why?
They filmed them all back to back. Again, they killed off Travis Manawa in Fear the Walking Dead so that Cliff Curtis could go film the sequels. But then also, like, aside from Dev, who likes the movie, hey Delvin, can you name more than 3 characters in Avatar, the movie?
No, because I hate the movie.
And also,
I can't even name 3 characters, and I don't know their names. I don't remember. That was 30 years ago, as far as I'm concerned. There was the guy, there was the chick, there was the bad guy, and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Also, by the way, slight tangent. terrible movie, but the movie Abduction has one of the best lines I've ever heard Sigourney Weaver say. So this is a movie with Taylor Lautner about child abduction. Just a heads up. But literally, she's like going into.
Also true.
I mean, I think I'm the only person in the PSVG Discord that still watches The Walking Dead, so
I,
that's
I,
okay.
I will say this, and this is funny. The fact that Haley just put out a big spoiler for Fear the Walking Dead and nobody cares tells you how much people watch Fear the Walking Dead.
Hey,
Nobody cared.
they just got
No,
renewed for season 7, so people absolutely care. Second of all, what I was saying about Sigourney Weaver is she's standing in a hospital carrying balloons, and she dead turns and faces the security camera in the hospital, lets the balloons go, and says, I hate balloons."
Dad, what's your story?
Yeah. Avatar's coming.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a beautiful game.
Yes.
And if the sequel does well, people might enjoy it. I can't even tell you why there's a sequel. I feel like the movie wrapped up well enough, but yeah. Haley. All right. Moving along to my story, yeah. So as we alluded to earlier, Godfall is getting new content and it's coming to PS4. So at Gearbox's conference, I don't know why they had a conference. Apparently it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
But they did announce that Godfall will be getting some new content. I forgot what the content is called.
Fire and
What the heck
Darkness,
is
I
it
think.
called? Yeah, there we go. Titled Fire and Darkness, the new expansion will have players venture into the fire realm, face new enemies, and acquire new high-level gear. And then a free Lightbringer update will also add the Lightbringer in-game mode with new rooms and loot. Over 40 new items and skins will go live with the update on August 10th. So yeah, they're trying to do something with that. I guess Gearbox feels like this franchise has some legs. It's not bad. It's a launch
No.
title. It feels like a launch
Yeah.
title. It looks really nice. The combat is cool. It's a looter game,
I
So
I want to play Godfall, but its standard version for some reason in Canada is $103. Like,
yeah, it's 70. It was a $70 title at launch.
okay, but $70 here is usually $89.99, which I have no problem paying. Like, again, I know I'm the weirdo who pre-orders DLC for games and also pre-orders games like months in advance, but Far Cry 6 is going to cost me $160. So I had no problem paying over $100 for a game. My point being is, after hearing people talk about how light the content is in Godfall, I'm not paying $103 to play the base version of a game. Like, that's the standard version. Then there
Yeah.
are versions that get up to like $175, and I just don't understand what's in those.
I have no idea. I don't know why they would. Yeah, I feel like there was just like some bonus stuff. I think there's
Yeah.
an extra level or something like that. But I mean, like I
It's a
said, the
suit.
game was fun. Yeah, suit of armor. The game was fun. Some of the stuff that you could do with it, it's kind of an RPG type of system where you've got a piece of armor on every piece of your body that you can then upgrade and create these loadouts and stuff like that. Um, the content was light. It wasn't a super long game, super deep, but they keep adding stuff to it, which isn't bad. So if they feel like maybe it has some legs, why not? And then to also bring it to PS4 just expands the player base because it's only on PlayStation systems and PC. I don't know how well it did on PC at all. I don't think it did great on PlayStation, but apparently, Gearbox feels like there's something there, so they're gonna keep putting out content, and maybe it'll have a turnaround story where people play the game and realize, oh my god, this actually is pretty good.
I
And with the amount of people that have a PS4, maybe that's going to lead into more sales. I mean, it coming out in August is not a bad spot because there's just not a whole lot going on right there right now.
Yeah.
So it could be a good time to pick up something that you can play and finish pretty quickly.
The only thing I know of coming out in August right now that I'm interested is Kenna.
Yep.
So
Yep. So you get Kena, you get Godfall, an expansion for Godfall. It might do well. It might just fill a gap, and people may end up playing it, and may do something. Games Master says I can buy so many games for $170, but you say 170 or 107?
160 is what
160.
is what I'll be spending on Far Cry 6, but that gives me the Ultimate Edition, so season pass plus like all the Ultimate Edition pack stuff and stuff like that, and so
Yeah, but very interesting, and this just goes along with the trend of everything kind of being cross-gen. So you've got everything just crossing lines, and again, with the amount, if you have the time to be able to develop for both systems, then you're going to get a good experience on both, if not great. As long as you have time, the devs can always make it happen. It's just like
yeah.
PC. You just have to be able to develop for the lowest common denominator with somebody who's got an i3 and 8 gigs of RAM versus somebody who's got an i9 and 32 gigs of RAM and a 1080 or a 3080 Ti or whatever. So
I
it's just
mean,
about having the time to make it work on that system.
yeah, and it's like I don't know, it's like Dying Light 2. I'm gonna buy the ultimate because like they don't have an ultimate edition in physical, but I don't buy physical games anyways. But it's so weird the dichotomy between prices for stuff because the ultimate edition for Dying Light 2 is $133, but Ubisoft's ultimate edition is 160. So I don't know.
Game prices only getting bigger.
Only in Canada.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all survive out there. It's ridiculous.
Hey, I mean, new job, so I don't really have to worry about that anymore. So
That's very nice.
yeah.
Congratulations. You're working again. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Shout out to the fact that, by the way, my trainer is in some like Oklahoma, and
Hmm.
we're all over here in Canada. So yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So, topic of the week. We're going to talk a little bit about Ratchet and our thoughts on Ratchet and how much we love that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about E3 and what we've seen so far and our thoughts on it. So, let's start with Ratchet. I know we've all played it. I don't know how deep everybody's gotten into it. I'm only like maybe hour and a half, 2 hours, because I'd be exploring. But goddamn, this game is beautiful.
I've been every planet I've touched down on. I've explored as much as I could. I think my game progress bar says I'm like 21%. But I've just been exploring like everywhere I can. Like I've already got 5 gold bolts, and a couple of the other collectibles. I've done. I'm playing as Ratchet again now, but I have the option to play as either Ratchet or Rivet right now. So like that's like for objectives. But I chose to go play with Ratchet because I've been playing with Rivet for a while, and and I'm liking it. It's great. Weapons are fantastic as always in Ratchet games. Like those weapons are fantastic. I think my favorite so far is the topiary sprinkler.
I haven't unlocked that yet. What mode are you playing in as far as graphics are concerned?
Performance RT.
What about you, Delvin? What mode are you playing it in?
Um, I played the first hour in fidelity mode, and then I switched over to performance mode just to see how it plays over there.
Like regular
Which one?
performance mode or performance
Regular
with RT?
regular performance mode.
Which one have you preferred so far?
Both are actually really good. I feel like performance mode is a lot smoother. It,
Yeah.
it 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 handles a lot better. But playing it in fidelity is just gorgeous, and it feels a little bit like how the old PS3 Ratchet and Clank games felt when you played those.
Hmm.
So that doesn't bother me. I know in terms of how playing it, but the performance mode is just so smooth and it's so great, and I like how it feels. So I like both modes so far. For some reason, I don't know why, because everybody I read that the game starts in like when you boot up the game, you first start playing it, it boots up in performance mode. I
Yep.
think.
It does. Yep, it
Well,
starts with
it
performance.
depends on how you have your system set, right? Doesn't it go whatever your
Um,
preference is?
so only certain games do that, and I don't know if Ratchet does that because they've never
I
actually
think it
said
does.
like again, you can set what your game will start in most times. Speaking of that setting, Jedi Fallen Order does not do that in its upgrade. I had to toggle on 60 FPS. Um, but um, yeah, I mean it started in performance, but I switched to performance RT. So
Because I
As you
say
were
that
saying, Devin.
because I say that because when I started the game up, it started in performance RT. Like I'm
Hmm.
like, and I was like, oh, this is pretty. But you know, I was like, this is pretty. This is nice. And then I put it in fidelity mode. Like this looks a lot different than what I thought it would look like. And it was like a big difference between performance RT and fidelity mode to the point where I noticed it. And when I switched
Hmm.
to regular performance mode, I didn't notice it as nowhere near as much.
Yeah.
But I just found it weird that it started in performance RT. I'm like, huh.
I feel like it asked me to choose. Like, I don't remember it starting off in any particular mode. I feel like it asked me what I wanted to play it in to off jump, and I picked performance RT, only because I wanted to be able to see the reflections and everything, and it looks incredible in performance with ray tracing. Like just
yeah,
walking around, because I'm moving through this game really slow, and being able to see like the reflections. Like there was a point where I went across a bridge and the reflection showed like all the boxes and everything that were right next to me. And I thought it was a window, not a mirror. So I was trying to figure out how to get inside to go break the boxes to collect bolts. And then I realized, oh no, that's the reflection of what's behind me. Holy shit. So just the actual ray trace reflections and everything, it just looks so damn good. And then the performance. So I can't play the fidelity. I cannot do 30 frames. I just can't do it. Everything feels like I'm moving through molasses or it's moving in slow motion. I just cannot play games like that anymore when I have the option to play in 60 frames. I'll probably mess with the regular performance mode just to see how much clearer it is, but I feel like the performance ray tracing mode looks really good and plays well. And you
yeah.
get all those added reflections and it just kind of creates a little bit more immersion. Um, but I mean the game is fun, the weapons are fun, the stories is shaping up real nicely.
Really good
Um,
story.
the loading there's no loading. It's just like boom, you're in.
Yeah, like that's just right in there. And the animations for when you level up your guns, so good.
Yeah, really
Um,
cool.
I think I think like Sotopia Sprinkler is great, but I also like the Negatron Collider.
I haven't gotten have I gotten that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I
It's the
bought
one that I think it was in gameplay previews, but I don't know if you went in blind or not. It just fires a straight beam, but like
okay.
you have to
I
hold the
just bought that.
yeah you
I
do
just
have to
haven't used it yet.
yeah you have to like hold it for it to like actually it's a charge
Yeah.
weapon. So
Yeah, I messed around with that because it actually plays with the triggers and I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Speaking of the controller, holy shit.
yeah,
Man, going to the nightclub,
yeah,
oh, it felt so good. Just walking around, hearing the music and being able to hear it spatially. So depending on how you're turning or how you're facing, you're gonna hear it more in either side. And then also having the controller kind of vibrate, like as you're walking around, you feel him walking, but you also feel the vibrations of the actual beat coming from the music. And depending on how close or how far away you are, it's more or less. Oh my god, it was a treat. I just kind of walked around the nightclub just because the music, one, I liked the beat, it sounded great, and then two, what it did with the controller and the spatial audio was really really cool.
Delvin.
I will say this about this game: the story in the game is awesome. It feels like a Pixar movie. It actually looks better than some Pixar movies.
Yeah,
It's it's beautiful. It plays good. The story is endearing. Rivet is an amazing character. I love her. She's great. I like where the game is going, and it's so amazing to me that essentially in the same year we get Miles Morales, which was spectacular, and then this game.
Insomniac's done 3 games in 6 months. I might add.
Yeah, I I,
Miles
I,
Morales, Spider-Man Remastered, and this.
I was gonna say that,
Yeah.
and this is a hot take, the hottest of takes. Insomniac may be Sony's most important studio
Yeah.
in terms of like
Yeah.
pumping out content. Like Naughty Dog, I love Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is probably my favorite, but they're not pumping out content like at this pace that's consistently this good. You're gonna get The Last of Us when you get The Last of Us when it's ready. That could be 5 years from now. That could be 6 years from now. It could be 4 years from now. But the fact that we got Spider-Man Remastered, we got Miles Morales, then we got this in this short period of time is impressive, to say the least. And
Yeah.
this is coming off of them making the regular version of Spider-Man that was not too long ago before that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, Insomniac's killing it.
And it's
And
not
that-
even that they just made them. They're also masterful. Like these games are incredible. Like they set the bar.
Yes.
Also, like again, I think it's been touted
man.
that $229 million sale price. What a steal!
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. That is by far like the biggest steal. So it's oh my god. It's incredible. Absolutely. Just I
It's-
can't wait to play more of this game. I'm so excited for it. And I've never been a big Ratchet guy.
Dev, I know that Donnie spoiled the overcharge thing. I'm not saying anything else about it, but
Oh, that was jokes. That was jokes. I didn't care. I was just messing with Donnie.
okay, but still a huge fan of how collecting gold bolts unlocks cheats and stuff. So switching the bolts over to overcharge cans is cool. There's a couple others in there I don't know if you want to know about, but
Nope.
one
No.
of them's probably right up your alley, Dev. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna change the things. I like the bolts. It just makes sense. To me it doesn't make sense to change that stuff. Because of the fact that like Ratchet collects bolts. So I won't change it at all.
You might change your mind. Is all I'm saying.
I will say this about this game. At this point in time, when you look at Insomniac's track record, I feel like Sony should be telling them, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. Make whatever game you want to make. Make it how you want to make it. Just make it good. Because
Yeah.
they're killing it. This is amazing. And this is the type of studio that you want to have on your team. Like I said earlier, like it's cool to have Kojima making Death Stranding and stuff like that, but you're gonna get that when you get that. Same with The
Yeah.
Last of Us. Same with even God of War for that matter.
Yeah.
Insomniac is putting out stuff consistently.
Yeah,
That is
they absolutely
that's-
are.
That is amazing. I want to say like, hey, what's next? Like, can you consistently keep doing this high quality at this pace? Because if you can, this is just this
Yeah,
is
we're
a
in for a
blessing in
treat.
disguise. Yeah, I'm blown away on how technically advanced this game is and how it lives up to the hype. Like I've never been the biggest Ratchet and Clank fan in the first place. I want to say the reboot is what really got me into
2016.
yeah, which really got me into Ratchet and Clank and making me like it.
Oh, don't forget they put out a patch for that one, and it has no business looking as good and playing as good as it does
Yeah.
on PS5.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just like I don't know. How do you not appreciate this studio? How do you not sit
Yeah.
there and say this studio is in the top 3 of Sony studios, if not number 1 at this point in time?
Yeah, yeah, and apparently they've been doing it without any crunch at all. Like I've seen several developers say,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I only worked 40-hour work weeks on this game. I didn't put anything extra. Everything at the studio was no crunch, regular 40-hour work weeks. So whatever they're doing at their studio, they're doing something absolutely incredible."
They deserve all the success they get. This is just a testament on how to do things the right way, honestly. Like we didn't think about it last year. We didn't know Miles Morales was coming. And when we found out, they had a little controversy. People were like, is this DLC or this, that? And then we got the game like, no, this is a full Spider-Man game. And some people, me included, like that game more than they like the original Spider-Man game.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up this pace. But I'm excited for whatever they have next. We know that
Yeah,
there's Spider-Man 2 on the horizon. We know that that'll come.
I know
Have
that
no
you
idea
want.
when.
I know you want Resistance back. Would not be surprised to see that come back. Would not be at this point, given their whole cross promotion thing they were doing, and the fact that they are in fact like I know that they own the IP, but to put overcharged cans and stuff like that in the game, I'm pretty sure they would need the publishing rights for the first one back from Microsoft, which means they might have them. So would not be surprised to see them, push a port of Sunset Overdrive to PS5. Just throw it out there, see if there's interest in getting a sequel out there. Like their Fuse was bad, but like that was EA that was EA managed mostly. So
I will say this, and this is a trend that I've noticed. I'm quite sure a lot of people notice this. When there are companies that work closely with PlayStation to put out games and they get a success, it's noticeable when they are not with PlayStation no more. And I feel like
Hmm.
if we felt that with Insomniac a little bit. Um, what's the guy? Well, the games we like, the Until Dawn guys.
Supermassive.
We're seeing that with Supermassive right now in terms of like the games they're making right now are good, but they're not the
I
same.
I don't know that that's not from them not working with PlayStation on it. I just think it's because Until Dawn worked because of the cast it had.
That could be a possibility, but people complain about those games not running as well as they ran on as Until Dawn ran.
Most of the complaints I've seen about like their anthology series they're working on right now is the writing, honestly. So
I like the second one a lot, by the way. The no, I think it's No Hope, Little
yeah, I
Hope.
know that. I know their third one comes out in October. So
Yeah, but Sony working with studios when they get in that jail, they have a certain magic that's just almost unmatched. Like, hey, when you hear that Sony branding and you hear, it's almost like, hey, they can't miss. It's just crazy, and it's just seeing Insomniac hit this stride where they're kind of at their zenith right now. It's amazing.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, I'm excited to see what they do next.
Whatever they do
Feel like
next,
it'll
I'm
probably,
all behind it.
yeah. I feel like it'll probably be a ways off. Like I feel like we won't even hear a mention of whatever they're working on for a while, unless it's something simple like a port of Sunset Overdrive, something like that, or a remaster of like Resistance, because
Resistance.
apparently
Yeah.
they've shown that they can put out a patch for something and turn it around pretty easily. Like I don't know how long they were working on the Spider-Man remaster, if they were working on it in tangent with Miles Morales or whatnot, but we'll see. I'm excited to see whatever they have next. I'm here for it. Insomniac, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, like Sony Santa Monica. Like we've got some really good studios that we know are working on things, and I feel like the future is very bright for PlayStation. And if we get any hints or any announcements at whatever their state of play is in July or whatever the hell they do, I think it's going to be very exciting. And I think PlayStation fans are really going to be excited about PlayStation and what it has to offer this year and next and for the future.
This is year one. That's
Right.
the craziest thing about it. Like, it reminds me of, and people are gonna kill me for this, but it reminds me of year one of the Switch, where how we got Breath of the Wild, which people love, and Mario Odyssey like in the same year. Like, that's
Yeah.
impressive. That is cool, and
Yeah.
to see Sony doing something similar to that, it's just impressive to me and amazing. Like, we still may get Forbidden West this year. If we do,
Yeah.
and that lives up to the hype, what more can you really ask for?
God
That's
of
a
War.
great year. I stand corrected. We can't ask for more.
You already know the gamers will last for more. We're never satisfied, right?
Yeah.
Never satisfied. But yeah, oh man, just it's like you said, this is year one, and we already have like masterpieces. We have gems. So I can't wait to see what games look like in year three, year four. Like we're just tapping the surface. We haven't even
Yeah,
gotten to games on Unreal Engine 5 yet. So it's just we're in for a treat. We're in for a serious treat as far as gaming on not just PlayStation but also on Xbox. Like we're in for some serious good times. We're finally not only getting performance, we're not only getting graphics, but we're also getting performance. We're finally able to really marry the two with these systems. So I think that just as a gamer, you're in for a treat, a serious treat. I'm really excited. Speaking of excited, it's fucking E3.
Yeah.
It's E3
yeah.
week. I know Sony's not there, but we've gotten all kind of, conferences and
Announcement.
tidbits and news and announcements. I mean, Dead Island 2 just got announced this
Yeah,
morning.
that
The
that
hell?
that is so wild. Like it's launching this year, and I'm like, oof, you're gonna go up against Dying Light 2. All right.
Like, why wasn't that at Koch, whatever the hell, Coke, whatever the hell they're called? Why wasn't
Let's just
that
do this.
there?
The company that decided they were gonna do a 2-hour recruitment video instead of like an actual conference, because holy shit
I
was
didn't see
that
it, so I have no
boring.
idea.
It was There was maybe 3 minutes of gameplay in a 2-hour conference. It was just people talking over Zoom.
Yeah, just crazy.
You know,
Apparently, the Dead Island thing was fake, but
All right then.
who knows?
I
Who
will say
knows?
this. Usually around E3, I hear a whole bunch of talk on Twitter and stuff like that. Relatively on my timeline, it's kind of been dead. Like you hear people, I've seen people talk about. Only thing I've seen people talk about a lot was the Mario Rabbids new game. I've seen people go crazy about that. I've seen people this morning. It was trending. The new Switch was trending because I think GameStop leaked it. Apparently, leaked some sales for it, something like that. It was trending on Twitter
I don't
this
know.
morning.
Yeah,
I'll take a look.
But usually,
Hey Google, no, no.
why are you talking to
Jesus.
Google like it's your pet? No, Google, don't pee on the rug. but I have been seeing people talk about E3 like I usually do, and I'm being honest. Like usually,
Yeah,
it's like 50,000, 100,000 tweets just talking about E3.
and you
I have,
follow a lot of people.
Oh,
yeah,
I follow like 1,500 people. My time has been bustling with E3 news, mixed in with all my usual like activism and stuff. But yeah, like E3 has just been bustling on my timeline. I mean, mostly about people complaining about how Gearbox didn't need to have that conference because hey, the only thing of note besides the Godfall announcement for PS4 was, hey, did y'all know that Homeworld 3 is in development? We're going to tell you about it 4 times, and also, can we never have Randy Pitchford talk about anything ever again on camera? Can we just like throw that man into the deepest like corner, please? Because that was the most. Like, it was
Jeez.
it was
yeah.
so awkward. He's standing there like talking to Eli Roth and someone else, and none of them are listening to each other, and they're all just trying to talk over each other. And then he tried to like high five Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart just like turned him down. Like like
Lord.
like also they had this like really unfunny like scripted, hey, we're gonna edit these jokes out before the conference thing, but haha, we left them in. And yeah, and then I
Well,
don't know.
Yeah.
I will say this: it's still premature for us because Microsoft hasn't went yet, and
Yeah.
Microsoft
Hmm.
is the conference that everybody's waiting on. They're going to
Right
kind of
now,
set
yeah.
the trend and going to set the tone for E3. And be honest, keep it 100%. I feel like Microsoft would just come on there right now and just show Halo, like, oh, they won. Like, it's like nothing has
Well,
really wowed me. Like Mario Rabbids, I love
yeah.
that game, so that wowed me. But Avatar,
Here
I'm
you go
like,
back to
Hey, you know
Avatar.
what? I'm excited that Assassin's Creed Valhalla's third DLC was actively confirmed, and the fact that they said they're making more expansions too. So not only are we getting a third expansion of going to Muspelheim, we're getting more DLC after that. Hell yeah!
I will say this about that.
Yeah, that doesn't
The
excite me.
Elden-
I'm like, we already
I
have that
expected
game,
that.
so
I expected
yeah.
that from them. So
Just thinking about how big Odyssey was, like this is par for the course as far as I'm concerned. Like I wasn't surprised in
No,
any
this
way.
is this is the first time they're making expansions into the second year. Like usually
Yeah, I
it's
get
more.
that. I get that, but what I'm saying is just the breadth and scope of how large Odyssey was. Like, I'm not surprised to see them do this with Valhalla. Um, that way, you don't have to put another Assassin's Creed. You can just keep building on this one, which I feel like makes way more sense.
way more sense. Yeah.
So I'm not surprised, but I'm also not excited about that. It's just like, okay, more Valhalla, you know.
Oh, Elden Ring. I saw people talking about that game.
Yeah.
Oh my
We
god, the amount of Elden,
I mean,
Jesus
Elden
Christ.
Ring is everywhere. So, I mean, Elden Ring looks cool. I'm not really gonna play it though. I mean, happy for everyone who's excited because they've been waiting. What that game got announced in like 2019 at the Game
40
Awards,
years.
and
That's what it
then
feels like.
just went silent.
Yeah, I don't understand like why people are so like, oh my god, Elden Ring. I don't even remember it being announced really, but it's not like it's been that long. It's only 2021. Like it's not like it's been
Dying.
forever. Like I'm so confused by that. But Elden Ring, yay. Not a game for
I
me.
mean,
Looks cool. Looks
I mean,
great, but it's not something I'm gonna play at all.
Dying Light was silent for longer than Elden Ring was. So like that's weird to me. But
Well,
I mean, hey, everyone's excited for it. So
I think people are excited for it because who's behind the game. Like
Yeah.
it's George R.
George,
Martin.
yeah,
So they're
Well,
excited for
Martin.
yeah,
George.
they're
I mean,
excited for that.
it's George R. R. Martin and FromSoft and Bandai Namco. But see, the thing is I don't understand George R. R. Martin's involvement because From Software has always been good at lore. Like they don't need help for that. So like, what's his involvement?
His name. That's his
Yes.
involvement.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Right.
we got George R. R. Martin to work on our game. That's the whole
Yeah.
hype behind it. Now, what he does or did do, we don't know.
Great question. Has he finished the 6th and 7th Game of Thrones book for people who want that yet? Because
Probably not.
He's not even writing that shit.
those things are never coming out, by the way.
They'll be out when they're out. Like a Take Two game.
Also, some of the stuff I saw yesterday was people being disappointed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 wasn't at the show when Ubisoft came out and said like that wasn't going to happen like beforehand, and I was like,
I don't want to talk about that. Stop playing. Like, stop playing, man.
Like
I want
again,
that game so bad.
I've said it again, and I'll say it again. That game's not coming out. I'm ready to win
I'm gonna
my
need you to
bet.
stop talking about things not coming out. All right, let the people live, Haley. Let the people live. Stop it.
Hey, no, I have to keep bringing it up because Delvin and I are in a bet. I'm excited to win that game from Delvin.
All right, so let's wrap this up. What's been like the most exciting thing that you've seen at E3 so far, Haley?
Evil Dead. I'm excited for that game.
Cool. What about you, Delvin?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Evil Dead looks great. I like Evil Dead. That's like my franchise. But like, really, like I'm kind of just waiting for Microsoft to go knock my socks off because I feel like there are going to be some things they're going to show that's going to come to PlayStation. Even with the whole exclusive Bethesda deal, I'm quite
World
sure
premiere.
there's still some things that are going to be on PlayStation as well. And Microsoft is just going to kind of just kill it. The floor is all theirs to take over E3 and wow everybody.
Hey, don't forget, we've also got Square Enix this afternoon. So
I don't feel like they can show me anything I'm going to be excited about, unfortunately. We got Final Fantasy. We got that already. So unless you're going to show part 2, which I highly doubt. And I don't care about more Avengers. I don't care about that.
I wasn't excited for 16 when they first showed it.
What about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I also don't know that I care about that.
What about Life is Strange: True Colors? Relax. I know you don't care about Life is Strange.
I've seen enough of that, so I don't I like it. It
Right.
feels like even with the whole Ubisoft thing, Far Cry 6 was kind of my favorite game of the show so far. But we've been
We already
seeing that.
saw that.
We've been
Yeah.
Hey,
seeing this
and
stuff.
guess what? Guess what? We're seeing it again at the Xbox show because they already came out and tweeted about it.
It's like
Yeah.
how much more can I see of this game?
Yeah.
I love it. It looks great. It looks awesome. But at some point, you just have to stop showing it to us. Either show it to us when it's almost coming out,
hmm
but don't just keep showing us the same game every week. Like, hey, here's Far Cry 6 again. Here's Far
Yeah.
Cry 6 again. Know what it's time to see? Some Far Cry 6. Like, all right, fam, we've seen enough of Far Cry 6. Just give us the game or stop showing it to us till it's ready. And
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm not. There's nothing that's excited me so far. The thing that I'm probably most excited about, honestly, is the possibility of a new 2D Metroid.
that'd be
That's what I
awesome.
want to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, it's just
I'm going into the Xbox thing with zero expectations or anything that's gonna wow me. So if they show anything that gets me excited, that'll be a win.
yeah. That's what I'm hoping
Yeah.
for. I'm putting all my chips in on Microsoft, knocking it out the park.
Yeah. I hope they do. I
I
really,
do
I
too.
really do hope they do. I would love for them to just completely kill it. Because not only is that going to be good for gamers, it's going to put some pressure on PlayStation. So if they can have a B plus A tier show, I'll be very, very happy. Even if they
Yeah.
don't show anything that I care about.
Yeah, like I said, they could Microsoft would just go out there and just show us Halo looking good, and that would be awesome. Like, hey, here's Halo. It looks amazing, and people are gonna be like, yeah, because that's what they kind of like. At this point, we need like, I'll be way more excited for Halo Infinite looking great than I ever would be for Avatar.
You
By
and
a
this
low,
damn Avatar. You
I
have
hate
so
Avatar.
much. If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
No,
Yeah, I hate
no,
Avatar. Avatar's
Avatar is
garbage.
dumb. I agree with Delvin.
I
Like-
hate you both. Avatar is it's a great movie. It's a great movie. I enjoy it very much.
Doesn't need 5 sequels though.
What does? Nothing needs 5 sequels, but we
Fast
do it
and
Fast
anyway.
and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and
needs 5
Furious
sequels.
didn't need any sequels. It
yeah,
didn't
Fast
need
and
any at all.
Furious needs
Yes, it
100
did.
sequels.
And you know what? We're getting 12. So hell yeah.
Yeah, it didn't need a single sequel
No, it
at
did.
all. Especially after 2, it was awful.
Two was
2 was
horrible.
like, oh my god, the worst
Hey,
fucking movie ever. It's so bad.
we hungry.
Gee.
2 is bad.
No, it's when Paul Walker says "cuz" that kills me. I'm like,
No, hey, you know what?
being from LA and knowing Crips and hearing people say "cuz" and then hearing him say, I just
Also, like I know that the second Fast and Furious movie is bad, but I love it. Like I love them all. They're so like just stupid.
yeah, absolutely dumb. Okay, well, we're getting off the rails here, which means this is a good time to wrap this up.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for episode 87 of the PlayStation Experience. We hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Please feel free to holler at us. Give us a follow over on them Twitters at PlayStation XP. Stop by our blog at psvg.blog or our Discord at psvg.blog/discord and join us in all our shenanigans there. Don't forget, we're going to be live on our Twitch channel pretty much all week for E3 stuff. We've got the Xbox show coming up next. We're going to have a live reaction from the Empire, who will also be joined by Nathan, and then they're going to record their episode right afterwards. So just stick around PSVG for all your E3 stuff. We've got it covered. And also, we just want to invite you to join us at our Patreon, patreon.com/PSVG. If you like our content here, for $3 a month, you get so much more stuff. And with that, I'd like to thank our patrons at the producer level, Mr. Michael Mason, Barry Cathcart, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Rude Days 93, Ben Moxham, Rob Emanuel, Nick Fall Harbor, Paul Kellicote, Kyle Heyman, Grouchy Surge, myself, Josh Barbone, RJ Kern, Horse Grill 69, Zachary Adams, and Joseph Wilson. Thank you guys all for joining us on this journey that is PSVG, because without you, we'll still be here, but we won't be as great. So thank you. Thank you for your patronage. And with that, other people know where they can find you, Haley.
You can find me over on Twitter at Shepherd's Realm. You can find me on your gaming platform of choice at Haley Zarel. Again, if you're gonna add me, please send me a message just so I know who you are. You can find me on twitch.tv/HaleyZarella. Again, got to nail down a schedule for getting back into it regularly. Probably after training, which, I'm probably not making affiliate this year, but that's fine. And then if you want to follow my shenanigans over on Tumblr, it's haleyzarell.tumblr.com. So.
All right. And Delvin, where can the people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Delvin_Cox, and check out Delvin Cox Experience anywhere you get podcasts. I will say this: July 1st, I have a huge guest.
Oh.
If you
Very
like
nice.
the 80s Transformers movie, you will love this guest.
Sir, don't play on my emotions.
Yes.
Interesting.
Hey,
I am intrigued.
Hey, Delvin,
Yes.
when do you get Michael Rosenbaum?
I don't know. Probably when I want to.
I was gonna say, right? Probably get him whenever, right?
Yeah, I talked to his sister a lot, so
That's why
Exactly.
I asked.
yeah. I never asked her. So that's like,
Yeah. You can find me at Dad Ninja Dev pretty much everywhere. Feel free to add me on all your places of choice. I don't care. Let me like Haley. Let me know who you are, because I'm not just gonna add no randoms, because ain't nobody got time for that. And with that, long live play.
PlayStation